Madam Chairwoman, would you mind turning your microphone on?
There we go. Okay. We'll start over again. Thank you for joining us for the Development Authority meeting. I call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. We're going to first start with our roll call. And we have 2 absences. Everybody's here except for Morgan and Jack. And the statement of purpose. Our statement of purpose is the Development Authority of Alpharetta is granted the powers and jurisdiction through the State of Georgia General Assembly and a resolution adopted by the Alpharetta City Council on September 3rd of 1996. The function of this authority is to promote the public good and general welfare, trade, commerce, industry, general tax base, and the employment opportunities available in the city of Alpharetta. The first item on the consent agenda is going to include the minutes from our last meeting of April 1st, 2025. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the minutes from the meeting of April 1, 2025.
Second.
So I have John who made a motion to approve and David who seconded the amendment. All in favor? Say aye. All opposed? Say nay. It passed unanimously. The next item up is for new business. This is the bond inducement resolution for Equifax, Inc. We are now going to have Charlie Jewell, who will give us an introduction to the item for this bond inducement resolution for Equifax.
Yeah, good evening. Equifax is considering an expansion at its Alpharetta campus located at 1505 Windward Concourse. The company would renovate the entire 3rd floor of the JVW1 building, which is approximately 65,000 square feet, to convert it from a data center space into a workspace for its corporate technology team. The project would create 244 new jobs with an average annual salary of approximately $150,000 and include capital investment of $25 million in real and personal property on the site. Equifax is requesting that the Development Authority issue up to $37 million in revenue bonds to support the project. If approved, the company anticipates moving forward with the project later this year. Staff has reviewed the application and is recommending approval of the revenue bond inducement resolution that was included in the meeting packet. The project would significantly increase quality employment in the city and is anticipated to increase net property tax revenues as well. At this time, I'll turn it over to Woody Vaughn with Holland & Knight, who's our bond counsel.
Thank you, Charlie. It's a pretty vanilla inducement resolution for property tax incentives that you all have seen before with a little bit of a wrinkle. The Equifax has a 17-acre campus. It has a 3-story building, which is primarily a data center on the 1st and 3rd floors. Then there's a separate building that's a 5-story office building, and part of the capital investment for them to expand their campus and increase employment has been to renovate the garage, get more capacity in a new garage, which you may have seen it. The issue was that that's all located on a single tax parcel, and so what Charlie and I have done with Equifax and their lawyers is come up with what we thought was a really equitable solution to provide them the opportunity to have an incentive if the board so votes in favor of it, but also to make sure we're being smart with how we do it. And so what we have done and what we've come up with is it's in the inducement resolution as part of the plan would be, as we are closing on the bonds later this year, is they'll subdivide their 17-acre campus, leave the garage and the larger existing building that's not being renovated in a separate subdivided parcel, which have a new tax parcel ID, leaving just the 3-story building that will have an incentive. And that's related to shifting their operations from a data center on floor 3 to a full workforce component. Allows them to expand with some really nice corporate technology jobs. Goes without saying, we hope that, this incentive will maybe entice them down the road to think about the 1st floor and hopefully do the same thing with the first floor. But that's how we came up with it. So they put in a lot of capital improvements. Not only were they looking at capital improvements in this building, but also the garage component of the overall capital investment. And we came up with a $37 million. Charlie did some calculations with the city finance department. Equifax looked at it with their property as to what we all think the assessed value of the existing three-story building will be with the improvements. And we want to make sure we size our bonds to that. And that will be the only building that will receive the incentive, which would be the normal Fulton County 10-year abatement. So that's my description of what we're doing in the inducement resolution. Obviously, if you're inclined to move forward with this today, we'll come back with a final bond resolution with all the bond documents at a later date. We do have 3 representatives from Equifax here. We'll give them the opportunity to come up and introduce themselves. Also, their lawyer is here, Bruce McCall at Miller & Martin, who we've been working with very closely. Before we bring them up, do you have any questions for me? I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay, great.
Good evening. First off, thank you for having us tonight in consideration of our request. I'm Trey Briscoe. I'm the Senior Vice President of Global Real Estate and Strategic Sourcing at Equifax. Been with the company for a little over 26 years. What can I say? Equifax is an Atlanta company. We've been operating here since 1899. We've had material operations in Alpharetta since 1989, and Alpharetta represents our largest location globally across 24 countries. We have invested heavily in this location in the last 15 years because we've seen it as a growth site, especially for our technology and security and operations jobs. We're really looking forward to this opportunity. It's another opportunity for us to invest in our employees. We'd like to create environments for our employees where we can attract great talent, grow that talent, and be able to retain that talent. And we see Alpharetta as being a cornerstone location for us, not only now, but in the years to come. So with that, just introduce my team. Pete Skaggs here runs real estate globally for Equifax, and Laura Paget Orderman is one of our key Atlanta real estate leaders as well. So thank you.
I'm Bruce McCall. I'm the attorney.
The most
That
important
nobody
guy.
ever wants to talk to. Yeah.
But thank you for your consideration.
Do you have any questions for us?
Just one question. What number of employees do you currently have, and how many you expect to, have at the end of this renovation period?
Right now, we currently have a little over 1,400 employees located at the Alpharetta location. We have roughly 1,700 seats today. This is going to allow us to grow this to close to 2,000. So we plan over time to be able to fill the building up. As was mentioned before, we do have the only other remaining space that we could modify in the years to come would be the first floor in the same building, which is also data center space. But right now, we still do have data center operations, operating in that space. But in the next few years, we would potentially come to look to expand that as well. We just completed a parking renovation project about a year and a half ago to expand our parking there to plan for this project and our ability to further grow our Alpharetta campus.
So if you're looking eventually down the road to expand that first floor into more office space versus data center, are you looking at putting data centers somewhere else?
Yeah, we're already in the process of that. So we've been through a cloud transformation for the last 6 years now. We're 85 to 90% of our revenue predominantly in the cloud. And so Alpharetta has been our largest owned data center that we have had. But it's also part of the bigger plan, which is to pretty much go to the cloud holistically as a company.
Does anybody else have any questions? So we are going to bring it to the floor for public comment. Charlotte will explain the public comment procedures for anybody who would like to speak.
So any member of the public may present public comment either for or against this item. No questions will be answered during the public comment process, but we welcome statements from the public. At this time, if you would like to speak in favor of the item, please approach the podium and begin by stating your name and address for the record. Now, if any member of the public would like to speak in opposition for this item, please approach the podium and again, begin with your name and address. Seeing none, we can proceed.
Is there any additional discussion for the board here? Okay, ready for a motion if somebody would like to make one?
I move the Alpharetta Development Authority pass the bond inducement resolution for Equifax.
Motion was made by Sean, second. Excuse me, second. I'm totally blanking on your name. I'm so sorry. Dan. Sorry, Dan. It's one of those days. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. And it passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you very much. Our next item on our agenda is going to be on new business. Melissa Tracy will give us an introduction to the notice of internal transfer of a taxable revenue bond for the City Center Office Project 2017C.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the authority, this item is before you this evening really more as just a notice item to the authority regarding an existing taxable revenue bond for the City Center Office Project, actually just right outside City Hall here. The owner or the developer there has done some internal restructuring, changing their corporate structure, and this is simply before you to have the authority take a vote to acknowledge that the restructuring has been done and the bonds have been transferred pursuant to the lease and existing bond documents, which does explicitly allow for that transfer to occur. This just allows for everyone's documents to be cleaned up and for the holder of the bonds as well to be notified of the transaction. We do have outside counsel for JM Family Enterprises here, Amy Huskins, who was kind enough to be here tonight just in case there were any questions from the authority, but we would ask for a motion and a vote just acknowledging the transfer. Happy to answer any questions.
We'll open it up to the board for any questions or discussion.
So with this transfer, are we completely out of this transaction? I mean,
No, the abatement will still continue. It's still on the same abatement schedule, just simply a change in the corporate structure and the ownership there.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Ready for a motion?
I move we acknowledge the notice received of the internal transfer of taxable revenue bond for City Center Office Project 2017C.
Second.
We had Sean made the motion and David second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And the ayes have it unanimously. Our next item is going to be City of Alpharetta Economic Development. Charlie Jewell will now give us an update.
Yeah, good evening again. Quick update. So we, as you all know, you had a special meeting on Friday and approved a resolution to fund and enter into a contract, conduct the CAA ICON Sports and Entertainment feasibility study contingent upon the Alpharetta Convention and Visitors Bureau contributing $75,000 to the project. Their board did meet today at noon and did approve that funding, so we will move forward with getting the contract and executing it. So just wanted to give you an update on that. Would like to welcome or make you know that Mandy York has joined our team today. So if you haven't met her already, she's sitting on the end down there. She's our new marketing coordinator. And if you haven't met her yet, I hope you take some time at the end of the meeting just to go say hi and greet her. But we're really excited to have her on board. She brings over 8 years of experience specifically in marketing, from digital marketing to graphic design to photography, so very broad spectrum of skill set that will put to work very quick with the city. So very excited to have her join our team. Quick update, I will be traveling next week on a marketing trip to Select USA with the state of Georgia and their economic development team. Select USA is actually put on by the U.S. Department of Commerce, and essentially they use the embassies around the world to invite companies to the U.S. once a year for this conference to learn about doing business in the U.S. and setting up operations here. As part of that, the Department of Commerce invites economic development organizations to go and exhibit. So the department partnered and sponsored with the Georgia Department of Economic Development. They're going to have a pavilion there, and we look forward to meeting companies from around the world. Given where tariffs are currently, it's going to be interesting to hear what feedback is and interest this year compared to prior years. I have attended this in previous roles in Virginia, so looking forward to being there next Monday through Thursday. And then I wanted to turn it over to Charlotte to share an update on a project that she's been leading for us. So Charlotte?
So I believe we have discussed several months back the plan to put downtown directory signs into our walkable core downtown. This was a request that came from a number of downtown businesses, especially those that were not directly on the thoroughfares, for visibility and to encourage visitors to explore and visit their shops. So in collaboration with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, we have now launched and installed 3 different signs in the downtown. These are all static signs that are located, one near the town green, one near Old Milton Park, and one is next to Aria Salon on Milton Avenue. These include restaurants, retail, and salons. So the concept here is that a visitor who might want to visit one of these spaces could walk in, purchase something or a service, and walk out without having to schedule this ahead of time. Thus far, they have been installed now up for a week. They will be refreshed 4 times a year, and an online version has been added to the Convention and Visitors Bureau's website. We've got a form collecting feedback and look forward to refreshing them, but we've already gotten some great engagement from them.
And with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Seeing no questions, we'll move on to our last segment here. This is just opening it up to the authority if anybody has any discussion or questions that they want to have addressed or talk about. Seeing no discussion, oh, I'm sorry, David?
Yeah, I'd love to see if we could schedule another bus tour at some point in the coming months. Kind of catch up on, some of the new stuff we're doing here.
We can certainly confer with our attorneys and with our community development department on the status of different projects and see about a bus tour.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
I've got another one, but if we do the bus tour, can our attorney come with us, since that's part of the no, I'm just joking. All right, the other thing I think...
I was not invited last time.
Oh, well, why you? You should come. Can the authority consider, or can we have the city consider, we have roughly $200 and something thousand in funds. I think we as a board should think about ways to either deploy it or what our options are in the next 6 months, 6 to 12 months, if we choose as a board to utilize them.
I also have a question on, being that the Visitors Convention Bureau approved it, signatures are forthcoming. We're waiting on draft of the paperwork on that.
Yeah, so we've requested the contract, and Woody will be reviewing it for legal review, and then we also have it into our finance team to review from a procurement standpoint. But it does require, the resolution that you all adopted or approved on Friday does require signature of the chair or vice chair in their absence, and the secretary treasurer as well. So we hope to have that within the next couple of days. And
But that won't come back to the board again, it's just,
no,
Okay.
yeah, that was approved.
Right.
The action that you all took on Friday authorized that,
Okay.
that approval.
okay, anyone else? No? Okay, seeing that there's no more items for discussion, we can move on to adjournment. Anybody like to make a motion to adjourn? Dan made a motion, John seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay? All right, we're adjourned at, oh my gosh, I can't see that clock that far. 6:21 PM.